Thank you for your interest in the CurePSP Genetics Program. The CurePSP Genetics Program, a national initiative led by CurePSP in collaboration with Massachusetts General Hospital, the National Institutes of Health, and the Global Parkinson's Genetics Program, aims to increase our understanding of the genetic causes of progressive supranuclear palsy, or PSP, corticobasal degeneration, CBD, or syndrome, CBS, and multiple system atrophy, or MSA. This video will introduce general concepts in genetics and the risks of participating in genetic research. If you decide to enroll in this study, you will have the option to talk with a genetic counselor before and after consenting to participate. While the exact causes of PSP, CBD, CBS, and MSA remain unknown, researchers are investigating how genetic and environmental factors contribute to the development, symptoms, and progression of these diseases. The primary goal of this study is to identify new genes and genetic risk factors associated with these conditions. So what is a gene? A gene is a section of DNA that tells the body how to make a certain protein. Proteins play many critical roles in the body and are required for the structure, function, and regulation of the body's tissues and organs. Each gene is like an instruction sheet which the body reads and interprets to build a protein. If there is a change in a gene, also called a mutation or variant, this can alter the function of the gene and the protein it codes. Some variants are more severe than others, and they can affect how proteins work in different ways, sometimes leading to disease. In rare cases, having a variant in a single gene is enough to cause a disease. These types of genetic diseases can be inherited in different ways, including autosomal recessive and autosomal dominant. We have 2 copies of almost every gene, one inherited from our mother and one from our father. Some genetic conditions are inherited in an autosomal recessive pattern. This means that you need to inherit 2 variants, one from each parent, to have the disease. Other conditions are inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern, where just inheriting one variant from one parent can give you the disease or put you at a high risk for the disease. In other cases, a disease can occur when many variants interact with environmental factors and other known or unknown influences. This complex interplay of multiple genetic variants and environmental factors contributing to a disease is called complex or multifactorial inheritance. Most cases of PSP, CBD, CBS, and MSA are not thought to be inherited and do not have known disease variants. Through whole genome sequencing, CurePSP Genetics Program researchers will search for new variants that could be linked to PSP, CBD, CBS, or MSA. We will tell you if we find a variant that is known or highly suspected to increase the chance of developing a neurological disease. We will not tell you about variants that are considered benign or not harmful. There are 2 possible types of results you may receive in this study. 1. It is likely that we won't find any relevant gene variants, in which case you won't receive any results or need to meet with a genetic counselor. This does not mean that you do not have the disease, but rather that we didn't uncover a significant genetic cause linked to it. Alternatively, you might discover that you carry a variant in a gene strongly associated with your disease or your symptoms. This will require retesting with a cheek swab to confirm the results. Once we have confirmed your results, you'll have the opportunity to discuss them with a genetic counselor. Even if we confirm the presence of a variant, the implications for your diagnosis and prognosis may not be certain, as we are still learning about the connections between these genes and diseases. If we find that you carry a genetic variant in this study, a genetic counselor will talk to you about what we currently know about its link to your condition or symptoms. They will also explain how this might affect your family member's risk of inheriting a neurological disease. When someone has a genetic variant, there's a 50% chance they'll pass it on to each child. However, the actual risk of developing a neurological disease depends on factors like the specific gene, how it's inherited, and the type of variant involved. While some variants almost always lead to disease, others may only slightly increase the risk of developing the disease. There are limitations to the genetic results in this study. First, we will only tell you about the gene variants that we believe are causes of your condition or your symptoms. As we learn more over time, we hope to discover new genes that were not known before. If you give us permission to contact you in the future, we may update your results as we learn more. If you choose to be notified, and if a new disease gene is discovered, you will receive more information about this testing and can decide at that time if you want your individual results. However, if we do not contact you in the future, that does not mean that you do not have any genetic variants that could impact your health. Also, we will not check your DNA for variants that could cause other diseases, such as cancer or heart disease. Please keep in mind that research results should not substitute for medical care. Before taking part in any research study, it is important to think about the risks and benefits. We cannot anticipate all potential risks in this study, but the following are the main ones to consider before deciding to participate. 1. During the blood collection, you may experience discomfort as well as mild bruising and soreness from the blood draw site. 2. There is a risk to your privacy, meaning that others could access your personal, identifiable information without your permission. The study has many safeguards to minimize the risk of a breach of your privacy, but it cannot be fully eliminated. 3. Receiving genetic test results may cause feelings of uncertainty, depression, or anxiety. You may learn unexpected information from your genetic test results, such as how your disease will progress, or that there may be a greater risk of cognitive problems. Some results may impact your relatives. You may learn that assumed family relationships are incorrect, or indirectly learn of a family member's genetic test results. Genetic test results can have implications for other family members and could impact relationships. 4. Genetic testing can also lead to other unexpected results. For example, having a single variant in the GBA1 gene may be a risk factor for multiple system atrophy, but having two variants in both copies of the gene is associated with a recessive condition known as Gaucher disease. Gaucher disease is a metabolic disease and is treatable. If your testing is concerning for Gaucher disease, your genetic counselor will discuss this in more detail. Your participation in this study may provide more information about the possible role of your genes in the development of these diseases. We hope this expanded knowledge of genes will lead to new treatments in the future and better clinical care for those with these diseases. Research results are not the same as medical test results. Do not use these genetic test results as a substitute for your medical care. By participating in the CurePSP genetics program, you can help accelerate scientific research to improve understanding of PSP, CBD, CBS, and MSA, and potentially identify new treatment options. Please let a study team member know if you have any questions on this or any other aspect of the program. And thank you for your interest in genetic research and the work of CurePSP.